whoever else going through this, went through this, or is gonna go through this, is that I ain't afraid. I went through every emotion. I went through every emotion with trying to pursue what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I think that
Yeah, I'm just curiously fascinated with it, and I can't stop thinking about it. Everything I do in my life is is related to this. I don't do nothing else if it's not got to do with fine. You know what I mean? And that is what, you know what I mean? To be truly good at something, all you got to do is show up.
Is that not unhealthy?
Um, I don't know. Do I look unhealthy? Take a look at this physique. I'm in phenomenal shape in body and mind. For me, what's unhealthy is living an unhealthy life. For me, what's unhealthy is getting up and going through the same day every day of your life, 9 to 5, in an office or in a that's unhealthy. That beats your mind. I don't work. I love what I do. And that's why I'm doing what I love. You know what I mean? That's why it's become a career for me, because I love it. I love what I do. So I don't think it's unhealthy. I I, I feel good in my mind. I mean, it's my life. I'm enjoying the fruits of my hard work. Nobody works harder than me inside the octagon, outside the octagon. I am a workhorse. So I'm going to enjoy the benefits of this life. I'm going to get myself a big mansion in Las Vegas. I'm going to get the soft top cars. I'm going to bring my whole team out. I'm going to spoil them and give them this life. Big steaks that size. We're eating every single night each. We're eating good. We're living good. It's human nature. Some people will sit and take positivity from that. They will look at that and take inspiration and inspire. It will inspire them to go and push for that. Others will shell up and critique it and be negative towards it. But one thing is sure, those people will stay where they are. The people who take inspiration from it will rise up and also one day experience that life. So this is human nature. Some go one way, some go the other way. But I am enjoying my money, my hard-earned money that I have dedicated my life to. I was always getting pestered. What are you doing with your life? You're doing this, doing that. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know what MMA was. They didn't know what none of this. They didn't know I could make a career out of it. As far as they were concerned, my man, dad, I'm talking about. As far as they were concerned, I was just getting into a cage and fighting with some other guy. They didn't know nothing about it. No one did really, but I knew. You know what I mean? I knew. But and then I ended up getting a trade just to keep them quiet. So I used to have a lot of fights with me dad. A lot of
What
fights.
trade did you get?
I ended up getting a trade as a plumber. Literally up in the back arse and nowhere up in the Wicklow Mountains. And funny enough, that site was one of the biggest sites in Europe. Kiltern, it was right at that skiing place. Huge, and now it's just abandoned. Now it's just deserted. So I used to go up there 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I was on that M50. I used to have to walk to the N4, about half an hour from my house, wait for some Limerick guy that I didn't even know. He'd drive on the M4, and I had to flag him down. Nightmare, yeah. 2 hours down on the M50, 2 hours back. Literally 14-hour days, and I was the first year, so I had to go and do everything. I had to go to the shop. I had to go and get this and get that. So I always had trouble with that, and I was like, this isn't for me. This is not for me.
How long did you last?
I lasted 18 months doing it. But it was tough, you know. Just it wasn't the life for me, you know. And then John said, because I was training with John as well at the time, and then John got in touch and says, I have a show. I'm running a show. I'd like to fight on it. And then that was it. I just packed it in, didn't show up. My dad used to come in and punch the head on me and like try and drag me out of bed, and I just wouldn't go. You know what I mean? I had an uproar for a good few years with him over it, but and that was it. I just packed it in, quit, and then focused on training. That's I knew what was going to happen. I knew I was going to get here. They didn't. There's a lot of stressful years. You know what I mean, a lot of tough times. But I proved them wrong. I proved myself right. I cannot put one thing on it, John. I just love this life that I have created. I love this business. I do not. I enjoy work. I don't want to be anywhere else but here. So every day I am enjoying myself. I wake up every day. I pinch myself. I want to see the room I'm sleeping in. I want to see the bed I'm sleeping in. I want to see the home that I'm living in. There's an elevator in the home. So I'm on the third floor and I go out, click the button, and it goes from the third floor to the first floor. I open up the elevator and I go and eat some breakfast, and then we go stretch out in the sun, and we have a big pool, a jacuzzi. Look, I'm just enjoying the fruits of my hard work. Gratitude is one of the most strongest forms of power in attracting good things. You know, if you truly feel grateful for the things in your life, I always felt grateful for even the small things. I always used to celebrate the small things. Now I might be celebrating the bigger things, but I always celebrate every little good thing that would happen to me in my life, even before I had any kind of money or any of that. I would celebrate and I would feel grateful for it, and it just gave me more. And this is exactly.
Yo, what's going on, family? If y'all can hear me right now, go ahead and drop some coffee emojis in the chat box. I want to make sure that the mics that we hooked up on right now, everything is sounding fresh. I'm right here with my guy Joe right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? This might be one of the, yeah, man. This might be one of the flyest guys to me, bro, in the blockchain space, especially in Atlanta. And that's why I wanted to really make sure that we highlight the Atlanta area, because like Atlanta, bro, to me, is like always a culture starter. You know what I mean? We always bring the swag. We always bring the culture. So let me make sure everybody can hear us right now. Make sure we locked in. All right, all right, all right. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome to 269 episodes of my podcast, Coffee and Crypto. My name is Vincent Owens. Been doing this for about 3 years now. Well, actually over 3 years we've been podcasting. And now we're on a journey to be able to highlight the city that I'm from, Atlanta, Georgia, which we have a mission called hashtag 10 in 5. If y'all see where we are right now, right behind us, the Atlanta Blockchain Center, man. You're going to hear a lot about this place on our podcast, because I believe that there's actually no place, to me, I ain't heard about it, but there's no place in the world.
None. There's none. There's the only blockchain center.
It's the only blockchain center, man. So if y'all can hear Joe's voice, Joe, just go ahead and say something to the people.
Can you guys hear me out there?
Drop some coffee. Drop some coffee if you can hear my boy, man. Drop some coffee. Let's go. We live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram. We're live on, I believe we're live on X and Zoom right now. We're live everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, you know, just drop where you're calling in from, where you're tuning in from today, what city, what state. All right. And if you guys are excited, drop those coffee emojis. And this episode today is not one that you want to miss. Honestly, y'all, I wrote a bunch of notes and I left them at home. That's how careless I was with these notes, because I just knew that me and Joe was going to have, it was just going to be a seamless, you know, transparent, you know, what are the words? Smooth sailing conversation, man. We do this each and every single day. We got the ATL in the building. Let us know where y'all calling in from. I know we got Mississippi in the building. We got Atlanta in the building. We got LA in the building. What else we got in the building? Y'all let us know online right now. We're just trying to take a little time, use a little time up to allow more friends and family to hop onto the YouTube channel. If y'all have not shared out our YouTube, make sure you guys go and subscribe right now to Coffee and Crypto Network on YouTube. All right. We got a lot of stuff that is en route. We got a lot of stuff that's on the way. A lot of collaborations. And without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and dive into today's interview. But before we do, you know, I got to hit it like this, y'all. Coffee and Crypto Network is for entertainment purposes only. So all of the different investment opportunities that you may hear on our show, all right, is not necessarily for something for you to just go out there and hop straight in and be like, yo, Joe told me to invest in this. Or Vincent, no. We said we're investing. What you should do is to do your own research, right? Dior. All right, make sure you do your own research. And that way, you know, you feel confident when you get into your investments. That's the only way. You know, Warren Buffett said it, and you know, this guy retired
last weekend.
And he outperformed the S&P 500.
150x, yeah. Wow, crazy number, like 15x.
All right, so look, I share that with you because I understand that success leaves clues, right? Success always leaves clues. And somebody as successful as Warren Buffett, all right, he has been leaving clues for years. And one of the main clues that he left was he does not invest in things he does not understand.
Yeah, and as simple that may be, that is a statement that can cross over for everybody, right? He didn't want to touch crypto because he doesn't understand it.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean that, you know, people here shouldn't touch it, right?
Right.
That means that you should go out and understand it first before you touch it.
Right. And that's a key. You should understand it first before you touch it. And the thing about Warren Buffett was, even in the dot-com bubble, you know, he had been 30, 40 years invested into the stock market before we had the tech bubble. And he even said, you know, people used to ridicule him like, oh, you're not investing into modern tech? And he's like, no, because I don't understand it. He was already wealthy. Not saying he didn't have any tech investments at the end of his career or within there, right?
He had Apple.
He had Apple for sure, right? But there were certain tech investments that he invested into. He wasn't like running after everything. Like I tell people, coffee and crypto, we don't share a whole lot. And I want to get better at it, right? I want to tell you, bro, I want to get better. And that's why I'm excited to be at Atlanta Blockchain Center because, right now on YouTube, we have people from ABC right now that is tuning in. Some of these people are experts at even trading meme coins. You know what I mean? And being able to catch that type of liquidity and know how to enter and how to exit at this that's a skill set. That's just not something like, you're just not going to you're not just rolling dice. You know what I mean? There's a skill set behind it. And so, what I want to do before we even jump into the interview is I want to open up our podcast to people that are qualified through the Atlanta Blockchain Center that would like to come onto our podcast. You can reach out to me. You can also, if you don't have my information, you can reach out to Joe, Ant, Marlon. Let them know, hey, Travis as well. Let them know that you want to actually get onto our podcast. And we'd love to have you here so that we could talk about other types of utility and other types of plays that people could be making within this space. All right. So thank y'all so much. I think the time is now here. All right. It's 10:11 and we can go ahead and dive into this interview. So I'm sitting here with who y'all know right now, my brother, Joe Lewis. You sound like a boxer, bro.
Yeah,
Joe Lewis is a boxer.
That is the boxer's name. Yeah.
I thought you was going to be like that's my granddad.
Well,
I thought you was about to be like, yeah, that's my granddad.
So funny conversation here is like, I was with some people last weekend and, we were just talking about the internet, and I've been asked this question since I was like 5 years old, right? So that's 33 years now, right? Because I'm 38.
Okay.
And the funny thing about the internet is like, if I really wanted to, I probably could use AI and create a bunch of content on the internet that has me related to Joe Lewis.
Wow.
So we're in that area right now where you got to be careful with what is out there on the internet, because you could just create anything with AI. You can create an entire backstory. I could have an entire page that has me related to the boxer Joe Lewis. Now you might find that eventually to be untrue, but I'll catch enough people and they'll believe it. But yeah, no relation, but yeah. Joe Lewis.
Joe Lewis. No relation though. But with AI, you can be related to anybody, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Man, that's pretty crazy. And we're gonna dive into I want to talk a little bit, and this wasn't in the caption, but I want to talk a little bit about scams later on in the show, right? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stuff that you could share with that, but there's some crazy stuff that even one of our leaders here at Coffee and Crypto, her name's Sana, and we have a call every Monday. It's a sip and learn, right? And it's an experience for people in the Discord group to be able to come out and just hear about different opportunities. I'd love to have you come on the Sip and Learn, and we can maybe dive deeper into like Vibecoding or something like that, right? That might be super dope. And we're going to talk about Vibecoding today, y'all. But what I want to do real quick is, number one, Joe Lewis, could you just introduce yourself? And then we want to dive into just kind of who you are and how you got here, because you're 38 years old. Bro, I didn't even know you were that old. I actually thought I might have been older than you, bro. I thought you was in your 20s. I thought you was like 29, 30, bro. So like, I'm 32. So like Joe low-key the big dog, man. Yeah, man, let's go. But for real, so can you just explain, who you are, man, and really, your background and how you've gotten to this space real quick.
Yeah. So I spent 15 years, my last 15 years was in tech, right? And so I've been working for Accenture. I do global consulting for companies. Mostly I focus on CRM, so customer relation management and cloud computing. And then in the last, I would say since 2017, right? I learned about crypto from an investment standpoint, right? But then I got into building on the crypto side, blockchain crypto side in 2020, right, during the pandemic. So I've been involved since then, and I've gotten my hands dirty. A lot of people call me a Gensler baby, because Gary Gensler, for everybody that doesn't know, he was a previous SEC chair. And the reason why I was called against it, we don't rock with Gensler. We don't rock with Gensler, but the reason why I was called against it, baby, because if you go on YouTube, prior to becoming the SEC chair, he was professor at MIT.
Yeah, MIT, yeah.
And he was pro crypto, whole Bitcoin. He was exercising people to go out and build projects and come back and get them rated as part of their final projects in the class.
Okay.
Right. So it was just interesting watching all the students like in our position ask him questions and him be like very intuitive and say, hey, yeah, you should probably design things like this. So to see him be in the position that he ended up being in was just weird. But nonetheless, he's back now at MIT.
Oh, so he's back at MIT now, right now?
Yeah, he's back at MIT.
I was wondering what happened to Gary. Gary, where the hell? I really was like, what the hell, Gary?
Yeah, he's back at MIT.
Dang.
So
we gotta add a what the hell Gary onto the you know, have you heard the What the Hell song?
No, I haven't.
You ain't heard it yet?
No.
Dang, bro, you locked in, man. I want to be like Joe. If Joe don't know nothing, he's like, nah, if it ain't on X, if it ain't crypto related, I don't know it.
I'm gonna have to look it up afterwards.
No,
but yeah,
you don't want to look it up, bro. Don't waste your time with that. No, bro.
Okay.
You're better than that, bro, for sure.
No, but that's why I'm against the baby. But nonetheless, after that, I got started getting like really, really ingratiated in the community here.
Okay. In Atlanta?
In Atlanta, but the blockchain center specifically.
Okay.
I met Marlon at the Soul Play event. When Nike released their dot swoosh. The first city they stopped in was Atlanta.
Okay, of course. Okay.
Yeah, so I met Marlon there. He was a speaker at the event.
Oh wow!
And then he told me about the blockchain center, and then I've just been coming here ever since. That's been October 2022.
2022.
Yeah, so we're now 3 years in. You know, we have our 3rd year anniversary coming up next month.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just grinding. We got over 27 builders who have launched companies out of the blockchain center, including myself with Skylark.
Amazing, bro. So where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Philadelphia. When I moved here.
Oh, so you feeling good? You feeling good right now? The Eagles just out here just dominating everything.
Yeah.
How you feeling about that this year, man? You know what I mean?
About this going into this season?
Yeah.
Well, I'm feel good about the team last season, but to be honest, I don't really watch football like that. So, like my homie, he'll call me and he'll tell me everything. And I base my temperature off of like the two of them. Like if they are feeling good, if they're like very, very bullish and excited, then I know our season is going well.
Okay. So yeah, I rock with Jalen. I rock with Jalen Hurts, you know what I mean? Like you know, people been saying, you know, since I cut off my beard, you know, I'm out here looking, I'm in my Jalen Hurts era, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna take it, you know, hey, he's a Super Bowl ring wearer, you know what I mean? Got 2 of them, don't he?
No, one.
Jalen only has 1 ring right now.
I believe he's only 1.
How many years he been in the league?
Like 3. I'm not sure. I think Nick Foles was the first one that they won a couple of years ago.
Nick Foles, that was it. Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, bro, I like that, man. I really do get along with people from Philly. You know what I mean? Like a lot of my good friends from college. I went to Tuskegee. You went to college, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I was up when I was up in Philadelphia. I went to Penn State.
You went to Penn State, okay.
And then after I graduated, I stayed up there, moved up to Jersey, New York for a bit. Okay. So I was up in that area for like 4 years before I moved down here. So I spent most of my life was up north.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Well, bro, so now you're from the North, East Coast, all that, right? Now you've made your way to Atlanta. You're at the Dot Swoosh event with the Nike drop, all that exclusive stuff, cool stuff that I expect you to be at. You seem like a sneakerhead or like a guy that really enjoys like fashion to me, bro. Like, you know, like it's dope. So you're in Atlanta, you meet Marlon, you come to the blockchain center. Did you immediately come, or like was it like something like you kind of hesitated and waited, or was it something that you just jumped straight into?
I jumped straight into it.
Were you in blockchain before?
I was in blockchain from a perspective of two things. So I was
Okay.
in crypto.
Okay.
One,
So you're an investor
I was investor since 2017.
since 2017. All right.
But then prior to learning about the blockchain center, I was just by myself. So I was interestingly also on the board of the EYL crypto club.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was before I even knew about the blockchain center.
Okay.
I was on the board of the EYL crypto club. So it
Oh.
was me, a couple other people, my homie Winston, Justin,
Okay.
Alistair. We were all like the board members
That's
of
dope.
EYL crypto club.
That's super dope.
Yeah, yeah.
Super dope. Yeah. Shoot, I got into crypto in 2018. I bought my first crypto, which was XRP.
Mhm.
On the beach. I remember that purchase. My boy wouldn't let me leave the beach without downloading Uphold and buying some XRP. So I remember that, man. What was your first purchase?
My first purchase was I just got back from a trip, and it was like a big trip, and there were so many people, and we had a WhatsApp group.
Okay.
So I was in Japan, and like somebody sent a text message into the WhatsApp group,
Yeah.
and it's like, everybody, you need to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Litecoin. I don't know why.
And Litecoin.
Right, but those are the four things that somebody dropped in the chat.
Okay.
It's like, and everybody was like, yo, we need to buy these things now. So I'm just
Yeah.
walking down the street, Japan, on my phone. I'm like, I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
So I just did it. I did it like that. Yeah, back in 2017.
Okay, cool. So you bought
I bought XRP.
you bought a spread.
I bought a spread,
Right.
Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, and Litecoin.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my spread back in the day was XRP, XLM 2018, XRP, XLM, VChain, and it was one called Harmony.
I remember
One. And I only bought Harmony one because it said one, and I was like, this is the one. I didn't know nothing about crypto back
I remember.
then. I used to just use little stuff like that, like, oh, this must be the one.
I know.
Thank you, Lord.
The feeling that you got it. That's important you say that, because so we'll probably get into this, but engagement, part of engagement, right? And that's why Skylark is building on top of engagement. But part of engagement is creating some type of emotional connection.
Okay.
Right. So that's what you did, right? And that's what we all create emotional connection to things that allows us to become more engaged, allows us to build a better relationship with, whether it's the community or it's a product or anything. We all try to connect something to it. Like if I want to become a better runner, I may have a purpose because I may have seen a family member go through something, and so now I'm engaged with running.
That was good.
Yeah,
that was real good. We're gonna get there. I know you're ready to talk about Skylark. Hey, you see, he said, my boy Skylark. Hey, we're gonna get to Skylark because honestly, y'all, I'm really excited, and I knew like when I tell y'all that we're in the time right now for blockchain where like this stuff is already being used, and Skylark is a service, right? It's a service.
It's a platform.
It's a platform.
Yes, it's a software as a service.
It's a software. It's a SaaS.
Yeah,
it's a software as a service.
Say that, yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, cool. So this is a software as a service that's for businesses. And so I want to show you all that when it comes to cryptocurrency, there's things right now, ideas that you all have right now that could be literally put on chain. And Travis made it clear to me. He said the new online is on chain. And when he said that, I said, good God, that was good, Travis. Like that was good coming from a young mind like Travis. Because it's like I would have never thought about it that way. I've been crypto since 2018. And that one statement from Travis made it very easy for me to explain what blockchain and the purpose of this is literally like if you're not building on chain right now and you're still building off chain, you're going to be so far behind, like it's going to be hard to catch up, especially to someone like you, so could you, so first off, you're the CEO of Skylark.
Yeah.
What is Skylark?
Yeah, Skylark. So Skylark is an on-chain engagement platform for brands, communities, creators to basically help amplify their engagement with their audience via gamified quests. Okay. Right. So you mentioned about everything being on chain, and you're already starting to, like, for the last for the last what, like last 10 years or so that crypto has picked up since, well, before that, but even in the last 10 years, we've seen money on chain, right? Right. Even in the last cycle, we saw a lot of money on chain, right? And smart contracts. But what we really haven't tapped into really is the consumer crypto and data on chain, right? And when you have engagement, right, which is, let's say you want to understand, you're in coffee, right? You want to understand what's the next season fusion flavors you should do, right? And you poll your audience, right? That data that you collect could go towards so many other things, right? And social media companies, they do that right now. They take your data, they monetize it, and then they put a dollar sign on it, and then they basically lend it, they basically sell it out to other people, right? So when you can tokenize data, right, you unlock a very good power for you and your community. You can start doing stuff like incentivizing people to provide data or empowering people to help you shape your community, right? Because they know that the contribution of their time, their data towards what you're building will come with some unlock point. So so for me, when the engagement is more than just like tapping in, it's more like, how can my data as a consumer, as a participant in your community, help shape the community and foster a better relationship and rewarding relationship as well.
That's very deep. That's interesting. So talking about community engagement, in data. So they say data is the new oil.
Yeah.
Right. Data is the new oil. And obviously through what you just explained, and some of you all are gonna have to go back and rewind that, because you said a lot of impactful things in one like really one paragraph, right? Within there. And some things I want to kind of unpack and unfold some of those things. So data is the new oil, right? You think about your car right now, and you think about, during the last industrial revolution, because now we're in the fourth industrial revolution, but there's always a vehicle that takes us from point A to point B, right? Right now, originally the vehicle was the one that we have outside that drives us, and now we have these beautiful paved roads. Well, I don't say beautiful paved roads because it's Atlanta, but we have these paved roads here in Atlanta, right? And it can take us from this side of town to that side of town. It can take us from this side of the country to that side of the country, right? Or we get in a plane, we can go from this side of the world to that side of the world. How do you look at these things as far as the rails that are being built out? Because it sounds to me like what you're building is a connection, because if we have one railroad track that's going this way, right, sometimes the train needs to veer off and go in another direction. So you have those railroad tracks that go in the opposite direction, just like at a train yard. Skylark to me sounds like you're building, that sounds like what you're building is you're building a piece of this new railing system. And a lot of the time with crypto, people think about the railroad system being only financial, but it's bigger. What is your thoughts about being a part of the fourth industrial revolution and building a piece of that railroad track?
Yeah. So there's a lot there to unpack. Let's see. Okay. Where do I start? So let's step away from blockchain for a second. Let's step into AI. Okay. Right. You mentioned data is the new oil.
Yeah, data is the new oil.
And sometimes I just pull up my chat GPT, right? And I type in things that I want to see happen, and I might have a question for it, and I'm giving it things that, if you just simply prompt, I have these data points, right? I have a name, I have a address, and I have email address, right?
Okay.
And maybe I have some numbers that my customer has done, like products and stuff, right?
Like invoice transactions. Okay.
right? But you just said the word, right? Invoice. If I provided those 4 attributes to the AI, it doesn't know if that's a invoice or receipt or a record in a database. Like, what are you trying to communicate to me? Right? So part of getting AI to help is starting to form some underlying consistency in language and communication. So basically, you have to train it, right?
You have to train it.
You have to train it. So what's happening nowadays is that social media is bounded by their ecosystems, right?
Okay.
Now they're finding new ways to pull people in so they can continue to train their models, right?
So they're bounded by their ecosystems, meaning there's no
that,
interoperability between different social platforms.
Yes.
As
Yes.
well. Okay. I
Yes.
got you. Okay.
So not only that, right? I don't want to use the word inference. Yeah, inference layer, like the ability for like us to pull off information off of that at the same clip that Meta and all of them do, ends up costing us money, right? Even though we are the ones that provided all this data that they are now able to utilize and have their AI running.
That ain't right.
It's not right.
Somebody type that ain't right in the chat box, man. That ain't right.
So there's a need for empowerment, right? Going back to the data points that I mentioned, right? There's that, but there's also what's called metadata. So metadata is data that describes data.
So what was the first data we was talking about? AI.
We were talking about we were just talking about data.
Period.
Right?
Data.
Like
period.
Raw data.
Okay.
Data.
All right.
Right. So but the ability to discern that those 4 data points in collection is a receipt. That is the metadata.
That's the metadata.
Yeah.
So the collective.
The collective of that is the metadata, right?
Okay.
So that's why it's important, because that when the AI sees these things for your community, that might mean one thing. For somebody else's community, it could mean some other thing, right? So AI needs to be tuned so it knows that when it's in this context, this is receipts. In this context, it's an invoice. In this context, it's something else, right? And that's training. But that nuance and particularity really needs to be built from the bottom up instead of the top down. Okay. Because what happens is the big companies end up basically like a monolithic version of what everybody should be consuming. So everybody needs to be basically I do this all the time. I have conversations with my AI because it helps me basically understand. Every time I go back to it for support with everything I'm building, it has all the context. Right. So let's bring that over to communities.
That's good.
Right. Now we talked about data. Now let's talk about communities, right? So, because I'm gonna answer your question on how this is like the new lane. Now, coming into communities, you got to understand the context of your audience. Right. I was on Restream yesterday for my Vibecoding every Wednesday, Vibecoding Lunch and Learn. Right.
We're gonna drop that in the YouTube link.
Right. I was on there, and the number one problem I had was I could not really get any feedback from people with because Restream doesn't have any comment box, right?
It does in the studio.
But you have to connect it to like your X and all that.
Stuff. You gotta connect it to all that.
Yeah. So
I got you.
Yeah. So without that, you don't really understand what people are asking, questions that they have. So that's that's where engagement matters, right? If you're building something and you want your audience, like you keep asking your audience to chime in and comment and ask questions, right? Because you need back and forth, right? Right. There's no one-sided product, right? There's no one side. I mean, it's not going to be a good product. It's going to be your product, but it's not going to make it connected. Like going back to the emotional connection, right? So that comes with you now starting to recognize how you can utilize data to empower your community, right? So now that can already be done in Web 2 though. So now where the new lane comes in is the blockchain, right? The blockchain is the rails where now you can take all that what I just mentioned and you put it on chain, you tokenize it, and then you have the opportunities for new incentive models to be created. And that's the sauce, right? By which people can now understand that the things that I do on a regular day basis can earn me something, right? This is not just a Skylark solution, right?
Gotcha.
This is a whole blockchain solution.
It is.
Right? Yeah. DPIN, you know about DPIN, right?
Sure.
You drive your car, just something you do on a regular day basis.
I got my plug-in.
Right. You got
demo.
You got your demo, right?
My demo, my Hive mapper.
You got your Hive mapper. That's all data. Right. So, I mean, it's very nuanced at times because we're thinking about data so complex. Right. Like, oh, my car data, but it's still your data.
Right. So let me ask you. So I don't want to go too far. So because this and it's perfect. Well, you brought this thing all the way around back to where we need it. You know what I mean? So here we go. So now we have the data, right? We have the data. And the biggest thing, like I said, data is the new oil. But you don't want people to be able to leverage your data like how they've been doing it in Web 2 and Web 1 for years, where they're the only ones making money, from the AT&Ts to the Metas. You know what I mean? And so now it's time for this peer-to-peer connection. What makes blockchain? Because I mean, I know this, and I'm not going to say I know everything, but I know this to a certain extent, right? And I'm sure a lot of people in our audience knows this, but for someone that's tuning in for the first time, and they're like, well, why do I need blockchain? Because you said something. You said it's already happening in Web 2, but now we have blockchain, which is a new rail. What makes blockchain so special for AI data? I want to talk in specific because with AI, it's all data.
Yeah. So it's two things, right? Well, they're kind of related, but so provenance, right? Which is basically being able to find the source, right? So if I can go back and identify that the first record of this data was this time and it was on an immutable space, right? Then it's more trust. So it's proof of history, right? So even in the aspect of like supply chain, right, where you want to bring every single place where that coffee goes on chain, and then be able to say that it started at this farm, right? This seed, right? Then these beans got, then it stopped at this place here, and it ended up here, right? That is a journey, that is chain of custody, right? Handling of a product, but in the case we're talking about data, right? So in the case of data, it's the same handling that you are concerned about when it comes to AI. Where did this data originate? Was it tampered with? What influenced it? Because that all goes into shaping how the AI responds, right? So that's one. The other side of it is just basically, whatever comes out needs to also be on chain because it keeps creating that loop. You don't want, you want your models to have safe data, or safe and protected data.
So the blockchain is a certain level, it's a certain layer of like encryption,
security,
decryption,
and cryptography.
cryptography.
and traceability and transparency.
Transparency. Okay, man, immutability, all of that stuff. That's incredible. So hopefully, so if y'all don't understand, basically the blockchain is like it was created by the NSA. I mean, like not even the blockchain, but hash, the hash, the same hash algorithm that Bitcoin uses. Cryptography was created by the NSA, right?
Yeah, cryptography is older than Bitcoin, right? But the hash that Bitcoin uses, right, is a more advanced version of cryptography that is used to basically encrypt value that's being transported, right? So the asset is a vehicle for value.
There it is.
It's a safer, smaller, you seen the Coinbase commercial?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, right. So all the money that's spent on, on protecting money nowadays in a paper format where you can just go into a database, like press a number, update it, right? And you check your bank account and it's updated, right? There's a safer, secure way and easier, cheaper way to send money via tokenized assets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been using this word tokenized assets and tokenization a lot. And on Coffee and Crypto, that's one of our, I would say, focus points is RWA, real world asset tokenization. What are some of your favorite blockchains out there that you focus on as a builder, right? Obviously, we focus on things as investors, but as a builder, what are maybe your top 2 or 3 blockchains right now for RWAs?
For RWAs, I'm gonna have to go with an NFA. For RWAs, I'm gonna go with Avalanche.
Okay.
What else is making a big play in RWAs? This stuff happening on it's
so much, right?
I mean,
It's
Solana
tough.
has some stuff going on. Base has some stuff going on. Aptos, I would say Aptos because Aptos is where they launched the BlackRock has their BRIDDLE token that they're going to be tokenizing stuff under Ethereum, obviously, Ethereum has a lot of projects on it. It's just not my favorite because I'm not building on Ethereum directly, but Ethereum is the largest like platform for building RWAs right now at the moment.
And I think it's like XLM, right? After Ethereum.
XLM is up there. XLM is up there too. But yeah, my favorite though, for RWAs.
Yeah, your favorite.
Avalanche.
Yeah. All right, cool. So y'all go out there and look up Avalanche. You know what I mean? Look into Avalanche. Take a look and see, because I think that there's so many, right? There's so many. And I don't cover Avalanche. So like, honestly, Avalanche is something that I need to dive into. That's why I like to ask. So I appreciate that, Jim, right there. I'm gonna look into it. So now coming back to AI, because I think AI is...
we can't forget Ondo Finance.
Ondo Finance.
Ondo Finance.
Now you're talking my language. Now you're talking my language. That's what Drake said. Now you're talking my language, bro. Ondo Finance. We got some folks on here that love Ondo Finance as well. That's investing into the space. So going into AI, I think that obviously it's very intimidating, and a lot of people are worried, that their jobs and things are going to be taken. I think that they're rightfully so. You know what I mean? But I don't think that the AI experience has to be as brutal as a lot of people think it is, right? Because it's very useful and very helpful. And there's some things that, I was kind of worried about. And I sat down with you on the same couch right here a couple weeks back, about 2 weeks, and was talking about some plans and some ideas I have for Coffee and Crypto. And I haven't really released those plans, talked about that stuff to the world just yet, right? But we're building up to it. But as far as that goes, you sat down with me and you talked about, because I was like, man, I don't know how to build my own website. I panic when I look at those things, right? I don't know how to build my own app. I gotta go out and find somebody on Fiverr that I could find, and I gotta interview them and figure out how to build this app. And then you set me down and you said, "Nah, my brother, let me show you a new way."
Yeah.
You know, and I think it was called like vibe coding or something like that. So could you explain a little bit about what vibe coding is? You know, how it's made your life easier and people around you, and then on top of that, you know, how can people learn about vibe coding? I believe you said you have some things going on teaching people vibe coding, or at least letting people watch you teach yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So vibe coding, right? It was vibe coding was officially coined in like January, February this year.
Okay.
Right. So it's very young.
Okay.
So fun fact, Y Combinator. So for those of you who don't know Y Combinator is basically it's like a startup group where startups are founded, just like in A16, the Andreessen Horowitz group. And then this Y Combinator. So Y Combinator had their winter cohort that just passed. 25% of the companies in their cohort, and 25% of the startup companies in their cohort, 95% of their code was written with AI.
Wow.
Right?
So you said okay, so when you're building a website or an app, you have to understand how to code, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Or you need a coder.
You need to understand. It's not just like going back to the point earlier that I was making around data and AI. You have to understand how to speak to the AI, right? To get the best product. And I'm about to walk through that in a second. But
I'm gonna sit back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit back a little bit.
But
you got me off the seat.
But yeah, that's part of it. So to go more deeper into that, that 20, like why is that important, right? So the idea of failing fast, right? You got an idea. Investors throw money at ideas that are coming out of these like Y Combinators, A16Zs, all these people who have startup ideas. A lot of money is burnt trying to prove if this is even a valid solution. So you need to come to the solution faster so you can pivot if you're gonna, you know, if you end up wasting time. So vibe coding actually saves you money, resources, time, because you're able to, you know, get to a prototype faster, test it, and then iterate. And then you can shift over to building something more robust, right? But you want people to touch your product and feel it quicker. And if you're not building something that is so overly complex, you can just go live with it just like that. So for example,
just like that.
So for example, I've been vibe coding now for like 2 months, and I've built like things in like 1 hour. I've built things off a single prompt. Like yesterday, I'm going to tell you that. Yesterday, Tia's sister needed a new website, right? So her sister is an event host curator, and she does the whole, you know, planning and the whole space design and everything. So she showed me a website that she wanted, right? Basically, I took a screenshot of that website, wrote down a bunch of things, gave it an outline, right? And I like to work with, there's a couple of platforms that you can use. There's Replit, Lovable.dev,
Replit, Lovable.dev,
Bolt.new.
I'm acting like I don't know these. I got all of them. I got all of them favorited when you gave it to me the first day. I don't play games.
There is V0.
Okay.
There's Cursor.
You didn't give me those, man.
There's so many.
Hey, man, they gave me 2 more. V0.
Firebase Studio.
Firebase Studio. Okay.
There's so many.
I bet.
But Replit is the one I use the most.
Okay, so what? So with Replit, what all can I build on Replit? Because we know what, so most people know what Chat GPT is, but when you go over to Replit, there's like a Chat GPT interface.
Yes.
Right. So there's an APY connected into
Yeah,
Chat
yeah, there's
GPT or something like that.
an API connected.
API. I say
Yeah,
APY. I'm trying to get some money. I'm trying to get some money. I need an APY, man.
Really? Yeah, API.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
So
okay.
they have it integrated with Chat GPT,
Yeah.
but you can change the AI if you want to as well.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
so Replit has that interface, right? So
Okay.
I use Replit most of the time.
Okay.
And but before I just type in there, I do go over to Chat GPT and I build what I think about what I want to build. So with her, I basically came to an understanding like, okay, this is what you want. You want your site to look like this. It's going to have these pages. I asked Chat, should I include any other things to make it spicy? Chat suggested other things to make it spicy. I just go on, I describe the site on paper, clean it up. Then I just take that and I give it to Replit and then I hit send. And honestly, yesterday when I did that, it took 12 minutes. But what I mean by 12 minutes, it basically I hit enter and then it took 12 minutes on its own.
To create an entire website.
Create an entire website. I don't have a link right now, but I'll pull it up and show everybody. But I just sat there. I sat there with my legs crossed, and I was about to go get some coffee. But I had everybody on. I mean, people were watching me on live, so people saw it, and most of the time was spent in planning. Most of the time was spent figuring out, okay, I want this page, that page. That took 20 minutes.
Wow.
That took 20, 30 minutes. Once I was done, copy, paste, hit enter, and the website appeared.
Wow. So I got a testimony, and I know Billy. I see Billy on the Zoom link today. But we were on our Monday.
Replit is REPLIT.
Yeah, REPLIT. So Billy is one of my people that's just been with the community for years now. You know what I mean? And so he's just been learning, and he has a seafood restaurant, but it's a crawfish restaurant out in Mississippi called Craw Billy's. Craw Billy, that's what we call him. We call him Craw Billy. You probably hear from Craw Billy once we get to the Q&A section.
Okay.
But let me tell you, we sat down. What I did was I took Juicy Crab website and I took I took a screenshot of it, and then I took the URL. I plugged both in, and then I told it. I said on the Replit, I didn't even go to ChatGPT. I said, I want you to design me, a crawfish restaurant in Mississippi, that has this thing, boom, boom, boom. And I was as specific as I possibly could, right? And that's one thing, you got to be very specific, very specific with AI. What you imagine, you have to be able to
talk about it,
type it, place it there. And the more that you say, the better the final product will be. Well, it built him an entire Craw Billy's website. I mean, we could have changed some of the pictures up and stuff, but we could have really, so question, if we build it on Replit, right? We build this thing on Replit, and let's say it doesn't have, we like it. We like the skeleton, but we want some new pictures. Like we got pictures. Can you change all that stuff?
You can change all the pictures in
on
there.
Replit?
Yeah, you can change all that. So Replit,
do I need to pay for Replit?
You
do that?
You do need to pay. So thing about Replit is like a whole hosting site, but it just has you can build on top of it too.
Oh, so it's like GoDaddy. Or not GoDaddy, excuse me. I didn't mean to say GoDaddy. I meant what's another?
WordPress.
Like WordPress.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I guess you could say that, but more complex. More dynamic and stuff too, because you can build not just like WordPress is its own you can add plugins and build on top within the WordPress architecture, but Replit kind of stands on its own alone. It has its own servers as well, so you don't actually have to port anything that you build over to AWS. You can host it right there on Replit, but that costs I think it's $12 or something a month. I don't know. I have to double check, but it
costs change if you're making money.
Yeah, if you know how to do it, if you know what you're told, if you utilize these tools a smart way, you're making money and you're not worried about that host server fees, right?
Right.
But it's just something to call out.
Understood.
But yeah, so you can host your whatever you build right on Replit. When you publish it, you can give it custom domains. So you can, if you already bought your domain name. In fact, we were in the 404 day parade.
Yeah.
Right. And the night before the 404 day parade, I basically vibe coded the entire 404 day parade website. But I made my own parody version of it. I called it 404day.ai. Right. So then you just go there, and now you can see the parade trail.
That's great.
Yeah, I was just doing
What? Dang, man.
Yeah, I integrated the map feature. So
Cute.
so
All through your words. It didn't even take much. You just typed in integrate a map feature.
I know where to grab things that I want.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I grabbed the map that I wanted from Google.
Okay.
Got the code from Google.
Okay.
Brought it back to Rapid. Say, hey, integrate this code.
Okay.
On a new page.
Okay.
So
look, check this out. So a lot of this stuff, I don't want to leave them, and we're at what 10:55, 10:56 right now, right? So it's cool. We're not in a rush. Do you have time at the end for like maybe one or two questions from anybody?
I'm not in a rush. Yeah.
All right, bet. I know you got to get back to vibe coding or something, man. I'm learning, bro. Like you've taught me a lot just in a couple conversations that we've had, bro. Just sitting down. But question. So if people want to learn more about vibe coding and they actually want to become more proficient, how can they be able to do that with you?
So specifically, we'll drop the link every Wednesday. I'm going live. I'm gonna start probably going live in our Atlanta Blockchain Center Discord.
Okay.
And then basically stream that to X and Twitch.
Okay.
But for the best experience, I would join the Atlanta Blockchain Discord.
Yeah.
And then there you can engage with me. And what I plan on doing is every Wednesday from 12 to 1, I'm just going to have an idea and build it by the end of that hour, just like I did yesterday. I just built a site in 1 hour.
Can I add you to my Discord?
Yeah.
I bet.
We can host sessions strictly for your Discord.
Okay, cool. We can do like sip and learn on Monday or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, that'd be dope. Yo, we about to be lit. It's about to be a lit summer, man.
Yeah.
We about to be locked in. Vibe coding. Yes, sir. So as a with vibe coding, and I guess this might be my last question before I allow you just, whatever you have to share about Skylark or anything else you want to share before, we take any questions. But when it comes to vibe coding and you being a coder and you having friends that are developers, are you in fear? Maybe not you, because you are a different beast. But for someone who's not a CEO, because some people are workers, right? They work for a company, right? You work for yourself, right? Now, people that work for a company that code and does the web development, how does vibe coding change the game for them in regards to either their job, being a risk, or could they use that in their job to become more valuable?
They can definitely use it in the job to become more valuable, right? So, two things. There's always an end user, right? There's always going to be an end user to your website, your product, whatever, or a client, right? So if you're building something for somebody else, or if you're working as a worker and you have a client that you're working for, or your boss needs to see something, right? There's ways to use AI to get to your point quicker, make yourself more efficient, right? That's how you should use it, right? Don't look at it as a threat, but look at it as a tool in your tool belt. I'm going to use AI to basically make myself more efficient. So that's one. The second thing is, so there's different levels of AI engagement, and the one that works the best right now is known as human in the loop.
Human loop?
Human in the loop.
Human in the loop.
Yes.
Okay.
We're not yet at like full autonomous AI.
Human in the loop. Okay,
Human in
I
the
got you. I
loop.
got you. Okay.
Meaning that the AI goes out and do something and it comes back and it checks in with the human.
Okay.
The human is always in the loop, right?
Okay. Okay.
So anything happens, check back with me,
Okay.
right? Or I tell you what to do and then you tell me what, and you give me a response.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So basically everything that you do right now, that's human in the loop.
Okay.
AI.
Okay.
Right. And that's we're gonna be there for a while.
For a while. Yeah.
Right. It's like from there to full autonomous stuff, right? And knowing that should kind of like take some of the like scare out of people, in my opinion, because now it empowers you to recognize that there is actually a model for you, which is called human in the loop.
Okay.
So just like step into the loop,
yeah,
and use this stuff
and just be that human.
Just be that human.
Just be that human in the loop.
Yeah.
I love that. Hey man, that's dope. Human in the loop. You know, they say
human lube.
No, Billy is crazy. All right, yo. So go ahead. No, actually, I got one more. I got another question. All right. So because yeah, it's crazy. So with Skylark, okay, I want to come back to Skylark real quick. With Skylark, because we talked about all these things, but Skylark is a community engagement blockchain company that helps people gamify their business to allow people to feel more incentivized or to be incentivized to actually respond, right? So Skylark is a company, like if you have a brand right now, Skylark could come in and help you create this model within your brand. There's one brand that I know for a fact, that I know personally, that you've worked with, Mac, right?
Yeah.
Her name's Mac, but she has a company called Smacked.
Yes.
Right. Smacked is a Black woman-owned rolling paper company, but it's also going to be, I'm pretty sure it's also a cannabis lifestyle brand as well, because there's a lot of different, she has clothes and she has all these different things. How did you go into Smacked and help her? Because I saw you did a collaboration an event with her where there was like scavenger hunts and different things like that. Could you expand a little bit more so people could see how they could connect in the Skylark with you immediately?
Yeah. So for her brand, right, I understood that, well, what was coming up was there was an art festival here, 420 420 art show.
Okay.
Right. So I had I wanted to test the parameters of Skylark in IRL settings. Right. So I did that last year during
what is IRL settings?
In real life.
In real life.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
IRL.
IRL.
Okay.
So I did it before last November-ish. I had, or October, whatever the date was, but it was the Web3 Pitch Fest that was here, right? And I had people basically looking for mushrooms, scavenger hunt, right? And we gave away $300, but people were engaged. People were looking for things. They were scanning QR codes, doing quests, and then all to win the money, right? So that type of IRL engagement, right, was built on top of Skylark using like the quest functionality that we have, right? And I wanted to do that again with her, because we had talked about basically how we can take some of her brand and transform it into like AI agents, right? And then also how we build gamification around certain tidbits, right? Like she has, when you open the rolling paper, she has like those eight or 10 phrases.
Yes.
Right. And those phrases can be gamified, right? Quizzes. Not only that, like the unique ingredients that goes into our rolling papers. One thing I found when I was there with the art show, people don't know what they're smoking on, right? Like a lot of people came up to her and it was like, what are these made out of? And she told them, it's like, oh, like people don't really, you know, when you get your raw rolling papers, do you really know what you
Don't really know anything.
Yeah, you don't know anything.
No.
So she is like informing people of the product, going back to our conversations of like farm to table,
Yeah.
right? People want that level of education, right, with their product nowadays.
Yeah, they do.
So that to ingratiate that into people's minds, that's where the engagement comes in. Like you can use quizzes, polls, all these are modules within Skylark that you can build. So what I did with her was create some of those poll quizzes, and we were able to get some information from the people that came by that allow us now to know that, okay, you can run this social media campaign, you can develop these new products, etc.
So Skylark, so I'm a business owner. I go to Skylark's website. I saw that you can get started with Skylark, create an account, create a profile, all that. And then is it easy as somebody who's a business owner? I'm a solopreneur. You know, I don't have a team of developers and stuff. I can easily go into Skylark and build these things out, or would I need to contact someone at Skylark and have like a consultation and have you help us build it out?
So a couple of ways. I mean, for one, right now we're still in beta.
Okay, perfect.
So you can sign up, but
Can't
just
use it.
let me know, because I can give anybody a community code.
Yep.
So if I give you a community code, then you get access to the activation creation space.
Okay.
So once you get there, you know, you can basically create the activations, you can create the quizzes, you can create the polls.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do all that yourself. Or you know, I can work with you, because what I've found is that people value the thought process that I have around gamification.
Of course.
Right? It's not, and this is where I started. This is where I started to come up with what I'm calling the Blossom framework, because it's 8 individual AI agents that help people understand what really it means to be, you know, engage and gamify your audience, because it's why are you asking these poll questions? What are you trying to get out of it? And then, you know, so it's one thing just to build a poll in a quiz. It's another thing to build a journey.
Wow, bro, that's deep. Well, so we're still in beta. So what we'll do is once we have the official launch, I think that we'll do something. You know, we got some special things I was telling you about. You know, we'll be actually doing some live events here in Atlanta, and I think that maybe we can do an event together. You know what I mean, and actually around the whole thing. You know, coffee and crypto.
If you come to, we're hosting a slush event.
Oh, the slush event. Yes. When is that? When is that?
The slush event is tomorrow here at Atlanta Blockchain Center.
Friday, tomorrow.
Friday, yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have
what time tomorrow?
I believe it's gonna be at 7. But basically we're gonna have slushes and tacos. We're also gonna have some quests, so you can actually experience using Skylark firsthand. We were using Skylark at the Wicked Wolf.
Yep. I remember that. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
So stuff like that. We're gonna have QR codes all around. More IRL usage of Skylark.
Awesome. So where can they how can they follow you, follow Skylark, you know what I mean? Twitter, Instagram, anything like that people, and it'll also be in the comments, but just in case they want to go ahead and over and follow you now.
Yeah, so you can follow,
and then also the website.
Yeah, so website skylarknova.xyz. You can follow us on X at Skylark Nova, at Skylark Nova on all platforms, really, on Instagram and on X. You can follow us at Skylark Nova.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you so much, Joe. I got one question right here from Billy. I knew Billy, I figured Billy was gonna want to say something, so I'm gonna see if we can hear Billy. Billy, if you can unmute yourself, want to make sure that we can hear you on our mics. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, good morning, Joe and Vince.
Good morning.
Hey, look, man, it's like 2-page note day for this old guy. 2 pages of notes, and I might have to get to Chat GTP just to figure out what I wrote down. All these new words, you know, and you know, Versa and reckless and I mean, I don't know, man. I wrote them all down. I can read some of them. I'm definitely going to go to your site again and look and see. Man, it's like so I had a 15-year-old guy do a crawbilly website for me on GoDaddy, and I kept it up for 8 years. So I got to experience masking and some of those integrations they had at GoDaddy, but I didn't. When it got over my head, I had to change it to a whole new platform. I just discontinued. I thought as a business owner, it'd be better for me to just not do a website and only do Facebook, which I know hurts me. And I'm looking at this. I have a carpet cleaning thing. Like I could do carpet cleaning. I could do restauranting. Right now, it all conflicts on Facebook because now my food pictures are on my carpet cleaning and my carpet cleaning is food. It's a mess, Joe. And I'm kind of a slow learner, but I'm learning DeFi. I'm learning all these. I opened me up a Patreon last night. I don't even know what. I'm just doing all these funny things that I don't even know what the hell it is. But at the same time, I have to just force myself to learn, and then I pick up other things. And some of the things you said today, reflect back to that GoDaddy time. So there's a lot to learn. I can't learn it all in the day. It's like I got this big box and I got a lot of stuff in it, and I can show it to you, but you're not going to understand it, right? So that's where I am. I don't really understand a lot of what you said, but I can just keep forcing myself to learn. And as I continue my education with coffee and crypto, I can help myself, pick up some things in that box. So I appreciate you today coming up and showing us. We learned from Travis last week. It's like Vince is bringing all of these people to the table. I wish I could make that gum slushy taco party. Damn, but I'm gonna be cooking crawfish, so I can't do that. So
It's the party.
man, telling you, I just want to rent that car and come on down. Now I have participated for the blockchain center people. I've been participating, learning about the facts that y'all are doing weekly. Those little seminars y'all are doing, communication, networking things. Y'all really have something spectacular there, and I'm, maybe at some point y'all can ride this way, and help some folks over here. I don't know who that would be. I don't have any friends in crypto. Everybody thinks I'm crazy, Joe, but at the same time, hey, I'm just learning. I'm learning what's in that damn box, Joe. I want to find more stuff in that box. And with you being here today and Vincent, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great day. Cross hub.
No, thank you. I mean, keep that box, because you said something that was very important, because this is it is that same GoDaddy era again. I remember that time when I was just testing out everything, and like you, when I was testing out everything, I kept it because I knew I was gonna have to go back to it at some point in the future.
Cool. Well, I discontinued GoDaddy, but I still have all of these domains that I have that I still have to pay for, and then they have new things that I have to add, SSILs or something. It's just so much stuff. I mean, there's more 3 and 4 letter words in my life than just to be amazed. I was learning about TVLs last night. What's a TVL? It's like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Y'all have a great day. I'm gonna shut up, but I appreciate you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Billy. Appreciate you for coming up.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna call on my boy Zatrick right now. I think that's the last one that we got right here, and then we'll be done. Go ahead, Zatrick. You can unmute if you're available. You should be able to unmute now. You there, Zatrick? All right. Well, I think Zatrick might not. I don't know if not sure what's going on. I think this was John. John, did you have anything? Did you have anything to say? Yeah, the Satoshi shirt is hard for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Amazing, amazing interview, man. Great information. Joe, when I first met you, when I came down to the blockchain center for the first time, man, I knew he was a special guy. When Vincent invited me down, just to see what was going on, and he had been telling me, I had been seeing what was going on, and just to be there and you guys present, it was amazing. Every time I chime in with you guys, I always learn a lot. With me being an entrepreneur myself, and being in the actual digital asset space, I have a few different projects, which we're gonna take them one at a time. But I would like to work with you on. But here, that's a conversation for another day, man. But just you guys, talking about the different technologies and the different, protocols, like with the different AI agents that people are starting to deploy, which is, I feel like that's going to be, I mean, it's a huge thing now, but that's something I would like to tap more into too, because I see a huge gap, not just here in Atlanta, but, just globally where we are right now on a global scale, the gap that needs to be bridged. And, there's just a couple of different things that I had to talk with you about. And I'm glad Vincent, like I said, invited me, man. I'm glad, we have a chance to work with you over here at the Coffee and Crypto Network, which is, I am a blockchain strategist over here at the Coffee and Crypto Network. So I work with Vincent a lot. And, which is, I've been to blockchain a couple of times, and I'm looking to come. I was going to come tonight, but you said tacos tomorrow, so it'll be tomorrow.
Yeah.
I stopped by, and then we'll do some, some talking and stuff, man. But great stuff, man. Great information. I mean, it's time, it's time to scrap our boots and get rolling, and that's the whole purpose of having these interviews, man, to learn and to bridge these gaps and utilize these different tools, man. I appreciate the valuable information that you share amongst all of us, man. It's a great thing, and you're going to continue to get your blessings, you and Vincent, with you just being on the show, sharing this type of information, and we'd love to have you over here, man, on the Sip and Learn, and Onchain for an hour, discussing, different things on how we can move forward in this space, man. You bring a lot of value, so I just look forward to working with you, man. I'm glad to have you on board. I'm glad to be able to be a team member. I'm glad just to be in the network alone here in the Atlanta metro area, man. You guys are doing an awesome job over there at the Blockchain Center, man. And I'm just glad to be where I am at this point. Craw Billy, I'm a Mississippi native, so it's a lot of things down there that I see that's wide open that could be bridged and caught up on too. But we're working on it, man. Trust me, we'll be down that way. Trust me. I know I'll be down that way, and maybe we can eat some of that crawfish together and put some plans together. But thank you guys, man, and excellent job, VO. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of you guys' day, man.
You too, man. Thank you for those words. See you
Yes,
tomorrow.
sir.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you all so much for tuning in to our episode of Coffee and Crypto. This has definitely been 269 of them. You know what I mean? And to have these types of interviews is very I'm very grateful for. I want to say thank you to the Atlanta Blockchain Center. Thank you, Marlon Williams, for for opening your doors, and allowing us to come in here to record, to come in here to be able to manifest our dreams and allow things to come true. Truly, without you, I think that we would make a way, because that's what we do. But with you and being able to leverage what you bring to the table for us, we're very grateful. And I know that you're probably watching or you'll see this part of it. So I want to say thank you so much. And if you're in the Atlanta area, make sure you come on over here to Buckhead, Atlanta. You could just type in Atlanta Blockchain Center in your Google Maps, and it'll bring you right here off of Hashersham.
Old Ivy and Hashersham.
Yeah, Old Ivy and Hashersham, right across the street from Hal's Steakhouse, okay? There's no reason not to come over here tonight. Thursday, there is we do have the Thursday off the chain
Thursdays.
off the chain Thursdays. What are we talking about tonight?
So tonight we're going to be talking about how we're actually going to be doing an exercise where people are going to break into groups and figure out solutions on how to bring culture on chain.
Culture on chain. So listen, tonight we bring in the culture on chain, and it's going to be a collaborative effort. So if you're in the Atlanta area, I'm gonna be here tonight, all right? Because I got to know how to bring my culture on chain. So I'll be here tonight. Then we'll see y'all on Friday tomorrow with NFT Tia and also my brother Joe and the rest of the Atlanta Blockchain Center family, which I'll be there as well. We are completely plugged in, and we are looking forward to this being an extremely hot and beautiful summer here in Atlanta area. And we are going to make Atlanta a top 10 crypto and blockchain hub in the next, well, we got 2 years left.
Next 2 years.
Top 5 in the next 2 years,
Yeah.
right? You said 5 and 2 now.
Yeah, we can do 5 and 2.
5 and 2. You know, let's step it up. But either way, though, 10 and 5 is still alive. And we will see y'all tonight. See you, my boy Jose coming through. We'll see you tonight, Jose. Let's go. Have a blessed one, y'all. Peace.